Alright, we've got some axles for my Forester. When you slam Foresters, the axles are actually longer than like normal Impreza axles, and so they end up not being able to have any play, and then they start binding. It's all bad. So what we're doing is I actually, in this box, have two Impreza axles, and the Impreza axles are just a little bit shorter than the Forester axles. Same spline count and everything, just a tad shorter. That's it. And using those should actually cause the axles on Granda, my Forester, to stop binding completely, and then I can have a car that drives slammed actually pretty good. Well, let's pray. Let's pray that these work. I really hope they do. I don't think I'll be able to get on video what the axle sounds like when I turn left, but it's not like a sound. It's more like the whole front corner of the car just starts vibrating like everything's gonna explode. It's terrifying. At slow speeds, don't notice it at all. On the freeway, I almost crap my pants every time. It is absolutely terrifying. I'm also starting to hear a noise from the passenger rear axle over there, and I really hope that one's not starting to go. The rear axles, I'm pretty sure I can just replace with normal Forester axles because it's the turning that causes the axles to bind, and those obviously don't turn, and I haven't had an issue with anything of them being lowered, so I could probably just use normal Forester axles back there. But I really hope that Impreza axles and Forester axles can hold up to power, because if you aren't following my build series on TikTok or YouTube already, we're actually doing a full STI motor swap on this car. This car, when it's done, is going to be a full 2007 STI, and it's going to be fast. We're having a motor being custom built right now down in Orem, Utah. I have a custom built billet Garrett turbo. That's an STI turbo converted with Garrett internals that I just got built for the car. The car is going to be fast when it's done, so if you're not watching for that, you should. Also, I haven't explained why I'm driving in the first place. I'm actually going over to my grandpa's house because he has a full shop in his garage, and it's cold outside in Utah. I want to do this inside with some air tools and power tools. It's going to make it a lot better, so that's where we're going to go get this done at. Alright, so I've skipped ahead. I already have the male end of the axle out. As you can see, it's absolutely destroyed. That's not from me. It was already like that. But anyways, you have to take the center bolt out here. You need to take the bolts off of the coilover, and you also need to take the sway bar bolt out to get it to drop low enough to get that front male end out. Now there's a pin in the female side on the transmission. You push the pin out through, and then you can pull the whole axle out. So we're gonna see how hard it is to get that. I got a couple punches to try and help get the pin out. So we'll see how that works. There's that pin I was talking about. You gotta hit that pin all the way through, and then this axle will slide out. Finally got the bad axle out, which honestly, it doesn't feel, I don't know, that actually feels kind of loose and grimy. But this one was actually way harder because the catalytic converter was in the way. I ended up having to get a really long drill bit and then hammer a drill bit to get the pin out. But we got the pin out, and we just got to throw the new one in. I'm a little nervous because I still have zero play in the axle with it all bolted up. And that boot looks really smushed back there, so I'm not sure. I guess we'll see if this is gonna work. Touchdown. Woo! Well, we got our four wheels on the ground. I gotta clean up the whole garage because I've made quite a mess, and I am covered in, I'm dirty. I'm very dirty. So after we clean up and clean myself off, we're gonna go for a test drive and see if this is any better. The car's literally undrivable. Holy shit, I can't even drive this. Oh my whole. Well, as you can tell, I was a little upset last night because the car it broke the car pretty much, putting those new axles in it. So I've been doing some research trying to figure it out. The only way I can describe it is now the car feels like the axles are permanently binding at all times, driving just straight forward. I couldn't even drive over 10 miles an hour to get the car home. Luckily, I was only like a mile and a half away from home. So the theory is because that they're new axles, they're not broken in yet, and they're probably still tight, and like I said, they're not broken in. So what my theory is, and what we've been talking with some friends, and what we've kind of come up with is, I'm going to raise the car I'm going to go like 3/4 of an inch up, raise it, see if that unbinds the axles. And if that unbinds the axles, that means that we're good. Just got to break the axles in and hopefully just lower it back down after the axles are broken in. If not, I'm probably going to have to go get the OEM Forester axles rebuilt and put those back in. But this is what we're going to do for now. So we're going to raise the car and see if that works. And I'm only going to do the front because this should not be permanent. So the car is going to look really stupid for probably like a week while I try to break them in. It's going to be like a Cali Forester. I hope it doesn't look as terrible as I'm guessing it's going to look. But 3/4 of an inch up in just the front. We'll see how it goes. I'm sorry this video is so sporadic. I've been freaking blowing my brains out trying to figure this thing out. I'm losing my mind. As you can tell, we're driving the car again. However, I had to raise the front end 3/4 of an inch and then pull out all of the camber in the front just to make the car drivable so I could get to work and stuff. And it's like the car's total Carolina squat, truck squat. Oh, it's so bad. The car looks so ugly right now. However, I have some good news. We figured out the reason that the axles are having an issue, the new ones, and it's because that they are new and haven't been driven on for over a decade, that they haven't loosened up, and so they were binding because they were brand new and just super tight. And I was trying to buy WRX axles in the first place because those are supposed to be shorter, and I thought I did. Turns out I didn't, and that the company false advertised the size of them, and they're actually the same size, so it just ruined the whole front geometry with these new axles. It made everything so I can't have a low car. But I actually just got back from O'Reilly's, and I had one of the guys there that knows me because I'm in there so often. I had him help me look for axles and figure out everything. I brought in my stock axles, and we actually have ordered 2 actual WRX wagon axles, which are about an inch shorter. They had one in stock, and so I had them bring the one in stock out, and I measured it up to my stock axle that I'd already taken out. It's like an inch shorter. I had them ordering a new one. I'm going to be picking those up later today and probably finishing the install this weekend, like Saturday morning. So we'll cut to that when we're doing that. First off, look how horrible this is. Look at that. Oh, it is so bad. Yeah, we're gonna need to fix that pronto. One of the axles already pulled out, and look, this was the axle that we bought. That was supposed to be a WRX axle. This one on the underside is actually a WRX axle. Look at how much shorter it is. That's what we were looking for. That'll prevent all the binding that we have in the front end. So we got to throw these WRX axles in, re-lower the car, and we'll be done. So we've got one axle in. We used an air hammer to punch out all of this more to try and help that. We've got the car lowered an inch again, and one of the axles they sent me was boxed wrong and is the exact same axle that I just took out. So now I got to figure out a way to get back to O'Reilly's to try and find the right axle. It sucks. Well, let's close out this video. We got the new axles in. Everything went in well. I lowered the car back down an inch from where it was raised, but I didn't add any of the camber, and we are maxed out on the coils before we hit the axles, so that's as low as we can go at the moment, unless I got Swiss springs, or what I think I'm gonna do is add the camber back in, because that'll lower the car a little bit. But no more binding at all. This car can be a freaking canyon ripper again without having to worry about blowing up axles. I'm happy about it. thanks for coming along on this crazy freaking journey of doing this, because it was a pain in my ass and I will never want to do it again. Everyone have a good day.